but all the features in the world can't make up for a bad filter, so I have 3 objectives. See how long it takes to clear all particles, see how much VOC it eliminated, final time if we equalize the noise to 53 dB, and they'll get points for coming in first to 6, and then we add up all the points at the end to get the rank. Starting with Puroair, and you know what they say, big things come in small packages, just not this time. Puroair took 16 minutes and 32 seconds at 48 dB. It got last place with 6 points. Dyson took 14 minutes and 56 seconds at 54 dB. Was it slow because of the fan speed or because the filter was too thick? We'll have to test it out in the speed section. It came in 5th and you get 5 points. Coway at 46 dB, the lowest noise of all, and it still did okay. It took 13 minutes and 7 seconds to clear the room. It gets 4 points. Third place goes to Morento, and this had quite the big jump from the last one. It got 10:07 at 54 dB. It got 3 points. Medify took 9 minutes and 30 seconds at 55 dB. As expected with the loudest one, but it only got 2nd place, 2 points. And the winner for this part is Blueair. It cleared the room with 5 minutes and 15 seconds at 56 dB. That's crazy. That's almost twice as fast as the last one. It does make sense because it does have the biggest filter, but still. And I know the sound is all over the place right now. We will fix it in the 3rd objective, but for now, Puroair got the high of 11 during the test. Came in 3rd place, 9 points. The Dyson did not do much better. The VOC got up to 17. But wait, what is VOC? VOC is just any chemical that can vaporize into the air. Paint, wax, rubbing alcohol, and etc. So it's how you measure odor, but even with 0 VOC paint, you can still smell it. So not all smells can be picked up as VOCs. So how do we measure what's great for odor? The answer? Carbon, and I'll explain what it does and which purifier has the most in the odor section. But for now, this is a general view of how these purifiers handle harmful vapors. Morento with a VOC level of 17. It also came in 4th, same as the Dyson here, so 7 points. Coway. I knew there was a catch. This thing did too well in the last test, and that's because it was the worst in the VOC test. It went as high as 22, 9 points. So far, there's a 3-way tie. Anyone can win at this point. Now Medify, the level only got up to 9. It got 2nd place, 4 points. And the best in both objectives so far, Blueair, the VOC stayed at 1. So far, it's proving that bigger is indeed better with purifiers. 1st place with 2 points. Finally, we can see what the real time is once we equalize all the time to 53 dB. Morento only took a few seconds more with the final time of 10 minutes and 22 seconds. I haven't heard of this brand, but it did surprisingly well. 10 points and you get to go in B. Coway with 11:36. This didn't do that bad. It would have done better if the medium speed was a little bit better. It'll make more sense in the speed section. 13 points and you get to sit in B. Medify did pretty good in the last 2, but it also did pretty good. With a final time of 9 minutes and 52 seconds. 6 points and you deserve the A on this one. And finally, Puroair and Dyson. These are the only 2 that swap places when we equalize the time. Puroair with 15 minutes and 12 seconds and Dyson with 15 minutes and 16 seconds. It's only a few seconds, but still means that Puroair is 5th and Dyson is last place. Dyson just can't stop taking L's. They both belong in C. And now, an undisputed king. First in all 3 objectives. This is a first. Blueair with a time of 5 minutes and 38 seconds. And to emphasize, this didn't just come in first. It got there by an avalanche on Mount Everest. It beat the others by a huge gap. And so it goes to its rightful place in S tier. These are the points, and this is the final rankings. We tested the VOCs, but what's more accurate for odor is knowing how much carbon the filters have. Luckily, some of the companies like Puroair were able to help. They have 35 grams in their filters, which isn't too much. For the small amounts, it's going in C. We asked Medify, but all we got back was there's a 1 centimeter thick layer. This is on them. They forced my hand, and it's not like I enjoyed doing this or anything. So I learned my lesson from last time and only ripped out sections to pour out instead of doing it all at once. And here it all is. And the grand total is 170 grams. But there's still a bit left inside, so 175 grams. Not bad at all, this is a solid A. So lucky for us, Coway provided me with the carbon amounts of every filter except the one I got. Nice. But thankfully, we can very easily weigh the carbon sheets, and it's 30.8 grams. So a little bit less than Puroair, and it goes to C-. Wait a minute, that's not the same as this. Is this better? Well, it's complicated. I found this paper where it said that pellets are 26% more effective, but because the pellets are denser, they can last way longer, which is why you find them usually on the higher end air purifiers. Blueair was not helpful for carbon at all, so I guess I'm dissecting another filter. This one came apart pretty easily and wasn't too hard to peel the whole thing off. This is all of it, and the weight is 67 grams, double that of Coway. But how was it better than Medify in the VOC test when that has double the carbon? Well, if there are too few carbon pellets per container, then it'll let air pass through without touching the carbon, versus sheet carbon has very small gaps, so the sheets are more effective. Which does explain how Blueair came first in the VOC test, but the disadvantage is that they last way shorter. But regardless, that's why Blueair is going in B. Morento has 2 filters per purifier with 150 grams each, so a total of 300 grams of carbon. That's crazy. The last video I did on all the Levoit purifiers, the highest I got was 250, and that was an expensive purifier. This definitely deserves the S for the king of odor elimination. But as a tip, you can just buy carbon from Amazon and it works. All the ones I took out, I put it in a laundry bag and popped it in my purifier, and my VOC went down by quite a bit. Dyson didn't know how much carbon they had, so here we go again. There's a plastic barrier on the front, so I'll just go from the back. Rip the pre-filter off and then the actual filter. I guess Dyson does have special filters because it feels very different than normal filters. It's softer and more brittle. Now we can see the carbon, and this is what it looks like when it's completely off. Rip off the fabric, and to my horror, it's carbon powder, almost glued to the sheet, so I had to spend the next hour almost rubbing off all the carbon individually. And now that my thumbs are black and sore, here is the final amount, 76 grams. Make it 78 since there's still a little bit left, and because there's 2 filters in each purifier, it's 156 grams, and honestly quite impressive with how small the filters is. Solid A-, right behind Medify. This is the final ranking, and it's not looking good for Puroair or Coway. They have been coming in last for many categories.